Got me with my mouth.
Good evening, everybody. It is Straight Talk Food for the Soul, and we're back. And I have some new friends that I want to introduce to my guests. And I want you to introduce yourselves before we have prayer.
Okay, I'm DeAndre McCarter.
And I'm Kitty McCarter.
And what do you guys do?
Other than be married to each other? um, professionally?
Yes.
I am a teacher. Yes, ma'am. I'm a special education teacher.
And I am a chef by profession.
Okay. DeAndre, you want to pray us in?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Certainly.
Yes, sir.
Right. Lord, thank you right now for this opportunity that we may actually speak to a need right now in someone's marriage, or even a young couple or a couple that's looking to get married. Lord, we want to thank you for all things. We want to thank you for our relationships. We want to thank you for our families. So, Lord, bless and give us inspiration on words to say, that someone may be touched and healed. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And I have a scripture. And our scripture is Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 and 10. And it says this: two are better than one, because they have good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. So that's our scripture tonight. And I have a thing for words. I didn't learn how to spell until I was 47. I'm 57 now. I even wrote a book and I couldn't spell. And one day my kids told me when I was in college, Mom, we're not going to help you spell any more words. And they went to Google and they said, do this, say it in the mic. It'll tell you how to pronounce it, how to say it, what content it is, even where the word derived from. So I got a thing for words, y'all. So my first word tonight is, I'm going to give you my definition, and then you can add, take away, or quantify the definition. And our first word tonight is marriage. It is the legal and formal recognition, a union of two people as a partner in a personal relationship, historically, between a man and a woman. Historically. Because now there are same-sex marriages. I'm not kicking nobody else, but my Bible says that is male and female, man and wife, that make that union. What do you think about the definition?
You want to go?
Well, um, and I can only talk about my personal marriage and what I was looking for. I personally see the word meaning just equally yoked with an individual that's like-minded, and then it goes off from there for me.
And to piggyback off your definition, when I think of in his profession with cooking, and they say we want to marry these flavors,
Together.
you want to take the best of the two things and put them together, and that's what out of this marriage I believe has happened, because, well, first of all, God is in it, so the best of both of us was brought together.
Yeah, I like
All
that.
right.
I really like that. Yeah. It's deep. I like that. I like that.
Well, come on, wife.
Yeah.
Our next word is covenant. An agreement, a legal contract that is binding. What do you think about the definition?
Yeah, simply a contract. That's just, like you just stated, an agreement, something that is unwavering, is solid.
Mm, that was a good one. Unwavering.
And
Go ahead.
I was and to piggyback off what you both said, to me, covenant is, like he said, unwavering. A covenant to me is deeper than a contract. Where contracts, you can have clauses and you, if this then that, but a covenant is like that's a promise. That's a guarantee. We really in this. We're not looking for the escape clause or for the, oh well, it expired.
An addendum.
None of that.
Yeah.
A covenant, that's what your life.
And I like what both of y'all said, but the unwavering, I guess because I've been divorced, and that is a deep hole for me, because something I wanted to give my children was a 2-parent home, and it never happened. And they had no choice in the matter. They just had to go along with whatever I was going through.
Right.
Thank God I have really good relationships with my children, and I know how to say I'm sorry, because they were the soldiers that were wounded just like I was. So that unwavering kind of hit me a little different, but I appreciate what y'all said, because that hit different tonight. Oh wow.
Thank you.
And I'm a crier,
and
by
with
the way.
the,
I'm just gonna let you know. I'm a crier.
we may be too. And just for some insight, we both have been married and divorced. I'm his third time, and he's my fourth time. So we have multiple divorces.
Yeah. So being, yeah.
Can I say wow without offense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we both say wow too.
Every day, all the time.
Yeah. And people that have been, people that have gotten divorced and have that feeling of, oh, well, I'm done with marriage. It didn't work. He and I we aren't those people. We were people saying, you know what? I know that I want this for myself, and just kept trying. But then before we got together, we both asked for some divine intervention. We were like, okay, God, this is before we met. We both we need some help with this. So that's where we are now.
Okay, tell us how you met.
But yeah, wow.
How did y'all meet? So
the internet.
Yeah. The who?
We met in oh, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? Oh, okay.
She's shocked.
Okay, we met in a Facebook group, and the group was,
tell her the group.
The group was big men with beards and the women who love them. And
okay, I'm just going.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm breathing now.
Go ahead. Sometimes, okay, and and when you have a type, he knows what his demographic was, so he joined that group. I joined that group, and we met. He saw me just kind of over in the corner, but interacting with people, and he shot his shot.
Oh.
Yes. And
wow.
Yes. And at the time, I was here in Texas, and he was living and working in Minnesota. So long distance, online. And
That's a lot.
I don't even know. Yes. But like we spoke a little bit earlier about a foundation, that was something that he had established. Like, I want I want the person that God has for me. I want to take my hands off of it.
Mhm.
And he had some specifics about what he wanted, and I did too. And I was like, on the with such specificity, had he said, "Oh yeah, I have so many kids," blah, 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 I would have been like, "Well, nice meeting you, goodbye." It's like I was very specific, and and we talked online for 100 days, and we actually met in person after a little after the 100 days that we had been talking. So we did not even see
Okay.
each other in person until we had been over 3 months.
Okay, I got questions.
Okay.
Y'all met online, which people think this can't happen. And I know another couple that goes to church with us, and they met online and they're married. And as far as I can see, they got a good marriage. So I'm not kicking online. I tried it, and it ain't worked out so far. I'm just gonna say it hasn't worked for me. Not saying that it can. Maybe I need to find one of these other little groups.
Yeah.
I must be in the wrong group. Question: y'all met after the 100 days. Where'd y'all meet at? I'm trying to figure. You never saw each other in person. Where did y'all meet? How did it happen?
Yep. That's gonna blow mine too.
Okay, how it happened?
Well, come on,
he arranged a trip for us to meet in Vegas, and I flew from Texas. He flew from Minnesota, and we met in Vegas. And it was during my Thanksgiving break, which it's 2 years ago now. During my Thanksgiving break, and we spent my whole Thanksgiving break in Vegas together.
That was a week.
Yeah, just about a week, almost a week.
Yeah.
And how long
it
y'all
was
been
it was a
married?
really good experience. We just got married in January of this year.
$2023.
Yes, ma'am. We met online in August of 21.
So yeah, we're new. We're basically newlyweds. But let me add some clarity to this. Let me back up, because it all started with me. It started with me because I've been married twice unsuccessfully. So this was the first time I said, okay, if I'm going to be married again, God, I need your help. God, universe, powers that be, I'm sorry. I recognize the error of my ways. Those other two marriages, I was inexperienced. I was looking with my eyes. I was looking with my natural eye for my wife. This is an opportunity for me to say, you know what, God, I need you. I know you have given me dominion to choose and find my wife. I appreciate it, but I need help. I ain't ready for it. Blow the northern wind my way. Just give me some indication that I need to go look over here, and I'll go over there. But I can't go over there by myself. I need you to help me find a wife, to give me what I need, not what I want. It wasn't about those things anymore. It wasn't about, how shapely she is. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a country dude from the South, and I love a thick female. And that was my problem. that was my problem. And most men have to realize, we have to realize that and admit that and say, hey, I know what the scripture says about a man finding a wife, and I need some assistance. I need some help. And it was as unconventional as it was. That was during COVID time when everyone was, inside. And so we couldn't get out and date anyway. So the next best thing was the internet. And so I said, well, let me go where women like men that look like me, right? So that's where I found the group, big men with beards, and the women that love them. So I know that sounds funny, but it was real, and I was very sincere about my desire in finding a wife, but I also wanted to apply biblical principles this time, because I will be the first to admit we get married first and then put God on top of our mess and then try to sanctify it that way. When in fact, God ain't had nothing to do with it. He's like, you just want to put my name. I didn't have nothing. You didn't consult me before you did it. So that's where I was at. So I hear what people say. Internet dating is not for me. Yes, you're gonna run across some duds. Expect that. I ran across a lot of women that offered to fly me out. They say flued out. They want to cook for me. They want to do all these materialistic things for me. But I knew that was going to wear out. So I passed that by. But when I came across her profile, she had one picture. I actually thought that she was a Nigerian man trying to scam people until I investigated a little bit more. But she turned out to be real. So, but as we got to talking, I realized that this is my opportunity to actually have a conversation with a woman without subjecting her physically, and that was my problem, and I recognize it as a problem. So the long distance relationship worked out perfectly because it gave us an opportunity to converse, to actually learn each other, to talk about things that we wanted, things that we didn't want. And so I wouldn't change it.
And when you take out the physicality, a lot of times I know, and well, we're grown and we could, but we asked for a thing, and there needed to be space. There needed to be conversations. There needed to be, I got off work. He got to see kind of up close and personal from distance how I move about my everyday life. I go to work. I call him, hey, just good morning, blah, blah, blah. I still do that. The same, it's the same. So it took some of that guesswork out. And again, it's like I don't have time. I can be patient, but I don't want to waste time. And the way we moved and the way he handled me, and it was like, wow, I'm okay. I'm okay in this. I'm good with this. And after we met and we were there for a week, and he got to see, well, she really is the way she was online. Let me do that for you, babe. Are you okay? Can I get this for you? Or I'm that type of woman where I want to cater to him. I want to take care of him. I want to fix this and be of service to him. And I love that. And he just absorbs it. And yeah, you love it too. He says he's spoiled, but I just love to be of service to my husband.
I think this is beautiful.
No, did we?
I think this is beautiful. Hello, everybody that's popping on. Hello.
Well, thank you.
I am enamored by y'all because I wasn't expecting that. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, y'all. Yeah, but the piece about you've been married, this is your fourth, and this is his third. What made you know that she is
yes,
the one?
ma'am.
What made you know that she was the one? Because you've been married twice before her.
Right. Again, it was the fundamentals of out the way I started. It's kind of me thinking about a sprinter or a runner, once they get into their stance, depending on how their race is going to turn out, is how they spring out of that start gate, how they take off. Because if they take off wrong, that can affect the race. That can affect their performance. So, and I got to say, the moment I asked God for his help was the moment that it just started flooding in. The information just started coming to me. Say this, do this. And I was soaking it up because I was in a place of alignment. I was in a place of aligning myself, not just with my wife, but with my creator. So I depended on my creator to feed me revelation. And from that revelation, I just fed her. And it was just I didn't really, I'm not going to say I didn't care, but I knew what I was doing was inspired by my creator. So if she did not agree with anything I was saying, the door was open. We can say goodbye to each other and no love lost. But everything that was given to me and I gave to her, she confirmed it. Everything. And she even confirmed what she was doing as she was waiting for her husband. And she can tell you about that. But that confirmed what she was doing on her side as I was seeking her. As I was first seeking God for her. Didn't know it was going to be her, but I knew that God had my back. I knew he was feeding me information. He was feeding me biblical principles about communication, about setting an environment for my wife. I was setting an environment for my wife and I didn't even have her yet. And so that's what's really, really important. That's how I knew that she was my wife. We joke a lot about boyfriend and girlfriends. We hate those words. We hate those titles. Not just because we've been married before, because we up in age. I mean, we too grown. We're out here talking about boyfriends and girlfriends. We should know exactly what it is that we want or don't want. And I knew that she was my wife even in the dating stage. So I began to give her husband energy even in the dating stage. So we didn't refer to each other as boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, we joke about it. It was several times I introduced her as my fiance. I've even said my wife, because we didn't like doing that, but at the same time, we didn't like the lesser. We didn't like the girlfriend, boyfriend either. So we kind of let it slide, but she'll always circle back around and to remind me, I just want to remind you what I want. And I said, babe, I know exactly what you want, but me as a man, I'm still playing this out by the numbers. And because I was still receiving that revelation. So to answer your question, how did I know that she was the one? It's because I was aligning myself with my creator, with my faith. And from there, things were just coming to me.
And before he and I met, I was telling him that God did something like in my life. If God has told me to move, oh, yes, sir. I can be very obedient when he instructs me to move, because I'm a mover, I'm a goer. But when he instructed me to be still, I was like, oh my gosh, seriously? That's the hardest thing. I'm not a still person. I'm a mover and a shaker and a goer and a doer. I'm not a be still. And on 2 or 3 occasions, I decided, well, I'm just going out for dinner, or I'm just going to entertain a conversation. And it was like, he said, okay, go ahead. And it would be like a dud. Like, oh my God. Okay, you know what, Lord, you are right. You said for me to be still and make sure I had to make sure he instructed me to be in a posture so my husband could find me. And when he and I met, and I didn't have to break up with anybody, I didn't have to explain, well, I'm kind of dating somebody, I'm seeing somebody. I didn't have to do any of that. It was like the ground was already cleared, all this, just a clear path. And I have an adult son, and it was like I felt like I'm coming into this space with a man, and it's like I don't have any ex-boyfriend mess, I don't have any ex-husband issues, I don't have any broken relationship with my son, I have a good relationship with my mother. I felt like I was in a space, I was like, you know what, I'm a catch. If I just need to stay right here, stay right in this space and be still, and God is going to have me in a position to be in alignment with who I'm supposed to be with. Not just, get the excitement of being married, but to be in a covenant, that unwavering connection. That's what he got me ready for.
Yeah.
Question. How did your family take that y'all met online?
You want to go first, or I go?
Because I'm a mover and a shaker, and I've packed up and I moved to China, and I've just always done my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
Nobody was surprised by that.
Yeah. And I'm the same. With my career, I travel states, and I can be in one zip code at one moment. So my family, they understand. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a shock. We both, her and I, we're one and the same in that way. So we understand that this is not the norm for everybody. However, it was a journey that was for us, because I found her doing what she was supposed to be doing. I found her in a posture, in a position to receive me. I was already being, I don't know if she truly understands this, but I was already being made, going through a process that I needed to go through as a man. Because even though I've been married twice, that don't mean I've been married twice. So I learned a lot of things, and I was open to learn more, not just naturally, but also spiritually. So we got to realize that, and your audience and people that are watching, this is not just, you're going to hear us talk about biblical principles, but there are some fundamental principles that you must have in place. I even liken it in an example of construction workers. You have to build a foundation first. You have to prepare the ground even before you lay the concrete for the foundation. So there's a process even to get to that. I had to learn. This marriage taught me all those things, and I talk about the principles of a solid foundation. And that's what have made our marriage so successful. And you had no idea of any of this. You saw an image of us. You probably thought we've been married for years.
Yes.
And in the game.
Yes.
But we're practically newlyweds. But yeah, but what you are seeing, go ahead.
But I was going to say, but we're not working on human time, that linear time,
right?
We working on God's time. So
yeah,
I feel like he did a Control Alt Delete with all that other stuff, downloaded a new thing, and just propelled it. That's that's how I feel about
Yeah.
this marriage. And when we, like he said, with the preparing the ground, and when we first started talking, he was like, he was on a foundational thing. It was because we both, with those other marriages, I know for myself, I'm like, okay, I'll get married, and then I'll just kind of put up some new curtains and, you know, put a few boards over here, and I can deal with the leaky faucet. I was just trying to fix up something that wasn't even right to begin with. And we came into this with, hey, let's start this clear ground, check. Let's pour this foundation.
Smooth out that foundation. Don't rush it, because we want it to be even.
and I'm getting emotional just thinking about the idea of when you pray for a thing. And I prayed for a husband. I was like, you know, Lord, I this time I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I had to really think about myself. Like, wait a minute, do what he asked you to do. Do what he's saying for you to do, which is be still and put yourself in a position. And then when I met him, and I'm like, okay, and we started talking about the importance of prayer. And keep in mind, this is internet, so people type anything. But when you wake up in the morning online with somebody and they pray you into your day, or acknowledge God in things, or don't think that you bringing up God is weird, because there's so much of that.
Yeah, going on.
So much going on. And he laughs at me when I tell him about it. I was like, yeah, because when I met people, they start talking about grand rising and the this, that, and that. I'm like, you know what? I've experienced all of that stuff. I need a man of God. We talking about God, the true living God, Bible God. He was like, yeah, that's where I am. Like, okay. And I didn't think those things were that important before. And it's like all of those important, like he said, the biblical principles are here.
Yeah.
And we're working it out and walking it out, and not and we both have had experience with, I think myself more so in religions. Mm-hmm. But when I came into having I call it my Jesus experience, that just sent my life on a totally different trajectory.
Tell me some of the other faiths that you belong to. Because y'all done missed my question.
I actually. Oh, I'm sorry. I actually was Muslim. Wore the hijab, went to mosque, did not report all of the things that you reading the Quran, trying to learn some Arabic. But it felt like a routine. It felt just like I was just following rules. And I didn't feel the spiritual connection that I found when I had my Jesus experience. I studied Buddhism, read about Hinduism, just all the isms, all the different churches and denominations, and I just threw my hands up and started going to a church when I had actually moved and lived in Oregon, and just was like, I'm just gonna pray. I don't know what this is going to look like. I sat on the floor at a 5 a.m. prayer service and had a Jesus experience. And when people say, you know how when they invite you to a church and say, well, your life will never be the same, that was true. Absolutely true. So
I feel like I'm in
that's where I am on
service.
with my Jesus. Yes, ma'am.
There's very few times that I'm speechless. Well, today we're gonna put on record that I'm speechless today. But I think y'all are amazing. Look, let me
Thank
ask
you.
some questions.
Thank you. Okay.
How important,
Hold on,
because y'all met
until I gotta go.
online, how important is it for y'all to
Yeah.
have great communication? How important is it for y'all to have great communication?
That was very important, actually. She'll be right back. Very important, because that was one of the very first, after I finished my whole class on foundation relationships. Mind you, I just left 2 unsuccessful marriages. Now all of a sudden I'm this relationship guru, but I'm telling you, it wasn't me. It was that moment I said, God, I need your help. And I started out with realizing, well, first I need to lay the foundation with her and let her know what it is I'm looking for and why a solid foundation is important. And from there, the next subject matter was communication. I realized that communication in any type of relationship sometimes can be a negative thing. Even in my family dynamic, communication wasn't there, and that was a hurdle that I had to overcome. So the same time I was speaking to her, I was speaking to myself. So I explained to her the importance of communication. And this was after coming from talking about having a solid foundation. If things come and weather, storm, whatever hits that foundation, it needs to be sturdy. And from there, we need to be able to communicate. We need to be able to talk to each other, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I wanted her to understand we both have been in arguments, being married, shouting matches. I didn't want that. I didn't want it then, and I certainly didn't want it moving forward ever again. I wanted to be able to talk to my wife the same way we're talking here, even if we disagree about a thing. She needed to understand that communication wasn't something that is only looked to be negative in a relationship, because we've experienced that. And because, again, I'm aligning myself with my creator, I can discern these things in her. So I was very, very, very careful about speaking to those things that she's experienced, but I was also listening. Again, I'm speaking to myself, because I've had some problems communicating with my mother, with my family. So yeah, no, she understood that right away from the onset, in the very beginning of our talking, in that 100 days. And in that 100 days, we just hit different subject matters, not just communication, but listening skills. We just went through the gambit. We had our own premarital counseling, if you will, during the dating process. So it was intentional, because I could not be unsuccessful again. I wanted to be married. I wanted to be successfully married. And I'm only here because we applied those principles.
And did you say about how in the beginning, when we first started talking, we talked about, and he was talking about, because communication was like a big word, and I equated communication with conflict. So if you're communicating, if you're talking about a thing, it's because somebody's mad. There's trouble somewhere. And he said, I could just through the phone, or through the video, or just through the messaging, he said, I could just feel the tightness when I would just tense up when I would ask you to talk about a thing, or let's talk about that. because in my mind, it means if you're talking about it, somebody's upset, or there's disagreement, or maybe I just shouldn't say that because it'll cause a problem. But in this space, I'm like, wow. I'm like, so all this time I've just been talking and saying, but in this dynamic, it's actual communication. I'm bringing it in, I'm processing it, and I'm giving some feedback. And that's new for me, because I felt like previously, because I don't like all that hollering and shouting and I don't like that people I was involved with, they didn't hear me if I'm just using my speaking voice. But when I turn my volume up and get colorful with my language, now you hear me. And that's not what I wanted ever again. And that's exact opposite of how we are.
I noticed that you don't have I noticed you don't have a problem with him leading you. How is that easy? Because he speaks and I can feel through the screen that you trust him. That dynamic is not in all marriages. So you were married 3 times before him. How do you trust him in these 100 days to lead you?
And I was in a position where I told him, I said, I told him, I'm going to show you my authentic self. I'm going to show you, I'm going to say what I need to say to you. I'm going to express myself. I'm not going to listen to, the podcast and the internet says that, you don't, any show of this is weakness, or you got to keep them chasing you and all that stuff. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm supposed to be in a posture to have a husband. What do you want in a husband? I want someone that I can trust to lead me. I want someone that I can depend on. I want someone, and I got that. I got someone that I can trust him. When he tells me that this is what he feels compelled to do, or he is moved to do, or the Holy Spirit said this for him to move forward on, I trust it. Now, if something goes awry, I'm trusting, because I know he's I'm here, he's covering me, and God got us all covered. And I trust him with that. I needed that. That was something that I prayed about. I don't want to always have to, side eye.
I don't know if you realize how powerful that is, what you just said. Even if it goes awry, you still trust him, because he's covering you and God's covering him. If I never do another episode tonight, I don't think I've ever had that. I've never had that. Well, I could trust, if we jumping off the cliff, I'm jumping because it's on the other side. Come on, husband, come on.
And all of this, keep in mind, everything that we're talking about, all these principles, the attributes of having a spiritual connection. It started with me, but she picked up the baton. She was already aligned, waiting for me so we can walk this out together. She had to go through her whole thing without me. So when I found her, she was already in a receiving posture. She was already in the mind frame that God was already working on her. So I didn't have to till the ground. I didn't have to toil. I didn't have to sweat. She was ready to go. She just needed confirmation. That's what I needed as well. We confirmed each other. in those 100 days. We built something in 100 days. And I don't know, I've never done that. I never done that in any type of relationship. I said, we're going to give it 100 days, and we're going to talk by phone. We're going to utilize this video. What all the communication, and I'm going to be honest, this is transparency. At first, she told me that she needed to talk every day. I'm like, what? I don't have time to be talking to you every day. I work hard and long hours, but I agreed to it, and I tried to walk it back, and she broke that thing down. Tell them what you told me, baby. Go ahead. Tell me.
Well, because I that was something that I needed, that connection. I felt like if the person that's supposed to come into my life and be my husband, how can you want to be my husband if you don't have time to chitty chat or check in with me every day? And we're in a cell phone generation.
Mm-hmm.
A text is 5 seconds. If I'm not that important to you, then I'm on the wrong path.
So right there, she set a precedent. She dug in and she set an expectation. Like, brother, this is what I need. And I'm like, okay, let me figure something out. Because I felt something. I like, okay, all right, let me move some things around. Or if I don't do nothing else, just let her know, communicate with her. So now I'm walking out the communication piece, the foundation piece. Everything I'm speaking into her, now I have to apply it to her. So that's why I say we wasn't just dating. We were paired together in a spiritual way, that all the time that I spent planting seeds in her about being married, now I have to go from in college, I had a lecture, then you had to go into the kitchen and actually learn how to cut meat. But at first I had to read about it. So with her, it's like now I have to actually learn how to communicate with her. I did not want to talk to nobody on the phone every day, but I was looking at it wrong. The way she spoke to me in a way that I needed to understand that in order to yield a harvest from her, I got to be able to nurture that seed. I got to be able to be there to water, to weed, to use some whatever tools I need to help that seed develop into a harvest. So we don't just throw a seed in the ground and walk away from it and think you're going to yield this magical jelly bean harvest. It doesn't work that way. It's some work has to be done. And I realized when she said that to me, you know what? You're right. If I'm going to work 12 hours and then come home and I'm tired, I can at least let you know, because your life has been paved with men that have not been serious about you, that's been playing with you, they have wasted your time, and that's not the path that I'm on. So I made that time. We went to sleep half the time on the phone, but I made myself available to her in those 100 days.
And in that time before we actually met him, and at the 100 days, and he tried to walk back the, talking everything. And I think what he heard was, I expected this long conversation all night, every night. Some nights we stayed on the phone for 3 or 4 hours. Some nights he would be tired, and I would say, just call me on video. And I just wanted to look at him and say good night, and that will be it. So the expectation wasn't unrealistic. It's only unrealistic to someone who can't meet the standard. That was it.
And this is why communication is so important, not just in the beginning of a relationship, but in a marriage, because as men and women, what is said and what is heard is two different things. I heard that this woman want to monopolize my time, and I'm out here trying to make this money. Now I need some sleep and some me time. And she trying to monopolize my me time. No, that's not what she said. That's what I heard. So I had to slow down and actually hear her. And I had to learn how to hear her over the 100 days. So it wasn't just about me talking to her and laying a foundation. Yes, it was also a lesson for me to learn how to be able to be a good listener to my potential wife. Because as men, we got a bad habit of listening but not listening.
And I was
I
going to
want to
say
say
too,
hello,
with
everybody. Hello,
ma'am.
everybody's popping on. Hello, hello, hello. I don't want them to think we're just having a conversation. We forgot
Oh,
about
I'm so
them.
sorry. Yeah.
No. Hello, Bishop. Hello, Mother Francine. Hello, Pharrell. Hello, Elsie. How are you? Sheila's on. Thank you. Thank you for coming. My children are on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do
Hello,
have a
everyone.
question.
Yes.
I have a question. How, because she's somebody in 10 years, she's not going to be the same person. So, how are you guys going to grow personally without growing apart?
Mm-hmm. You want this one? Or?
Well, I think again, foundational stuff. We both, he actually joined the church that I was already a member. I did a full 360 and came back, and we're both members of this church. And we have been doing more so he than I. He goes to a men's, he has a life in our church and with other people outside of me. I have things that I do outside of him, but I think it's just that core fundamental things that we love each other as people, and how he grows. I trust that his growth doesn't choke me out or smother me, but his growth grows us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just feel that we're both going to be led in directions that 10 years from now we'll be looking back going, you remember back then. We know we have, and of course I love the internet for this, all the memories that pop up on Facebook and things that you do and milestones. And so much of that is just the time that we've invested in each other and just building the connection, putting God in our midst. And I just see it going, just growing in a positive way. So I don't.
Yeah, and I have to give shout out to our father, our spiritual father. I can't take no credit for our marriage. Yes, there's work that has to be applied daily, every day. But the blueprint, the roadmap to a successful, loving relationship, it starts in that ground, man. It starts laying the groundwork, the fundamental principles. I will say that till the cows come home. So as she changed, I support her change. As she stated, she has a separate life outside of me. I support that. She support things I like to do. I'm an avid chess player. Even though she don't know how to play, but she gives me space and time to be able to indulge myself in that. So I'm able to retain who I am. I don't lose myself because of my marriage. She don't lose herself because of her marriage. We support each other in growth. We support each other growing because, again, that spiritual component is all about growth. I'm in a ministry right now where I am growing stronger every day. Now, it's not without trials and tribulations, um, but the foundation that we've set it is so strong in us. And we were just talking this morning about some things, and it's just so amazing. Uh, Even as she grow and I grow, but when we come together and we talk about how God is dealing with us, we're like, man, really? I feel the same way. Like, but we would never know that if we wasn't talking to each other. And you know, having this solid foundation and it still is helping us to grow even more. So yes, she's going to change, but I'm going to be here to support her. I'm going to go through some changes, but she's here to support me. That was the basis of our relationship. We didn't just pick this up today. This was a part of the 100 days of our communication, just by phone, old school. She even sent me a letter. She even sent me cards in the mail. Yes, she utilized the mailbox, old school. So because we was long distance communicating, I felt like I had to make a move. And at the end of that 100 days, I said, hey, we're going to meet. We're already doing something untraditional. So let's continue in that vein. Let's meet in Las Vegas and let's meet each other. Let's go from there. And that's what we did. And as you may have seen our video when I proposed to her, it was just a casual proposal. She had no idea. And that's the way I wanted it. But she didn't rush me. She had some insecurities about, is this guy serious about me? Because that's what she has experienced. And I recognize that, but I also explained to her, I got this. God got me. I got you. It's okay. Even when she began to even get squirmish and impatient before she even speak, I say, let's not talk about that. I got it.
And after we initially met, after those 100 days, he goes back to Minnesota. I come back to Texas. We had planned to go on a cruise in March of the following year. And so I was like, well, I do want to spend some more time with him. So my Christmas break, which was like 3 weeks from that time, I went to see him in Minnesota for my Christmas break. And then we were going to have this big gap from January to March. And I was like, I don't know, that's a long time. I'm not going to see you, but we still talking every day, still on video, still just every day, some communication. We even did, what did we do? Video dates where we would share a movie on the screen
and watch movies
long distance. Yeah. So we did all those things.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, we'll see each other in March and we'll go on our cruise and blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. Well, he surprised me and did a weekend in February and came to Texas to visit me. I was like, he just keeps checking all the boxes. It meant more to me for him to come take time out of his schedule. He had a very busy schedule, took some time off, came to Texas, stayed for 2 days, and then went back to Minnesota. And I was like, wow, okay. I said, this man is really, he's for real. He's for real. Just keep trusting the process. I'm gonna keep trusting and keep praying about it. And we kept moving forward. Oh, and I did move. We had planned on living here in Texas, and he was looking for another job here, didn't pan out. And so we were like, okay, we'll just stay prayerful. What's going to happen? What's for us is for us. And he asked me, I moved from Texas to Minnesota. Yeah, a big move. Big move. But I said, when I prayed about this thing, I said, I'm gonna go up here. I'm I'm gonna trust that this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna go, and I'm just gonna sit tight. I was chomping at the bit a little bit, but I was like, I'm prepared. I'm gonna be continue to be in the right posture, because if this man decides that he does not want to do this with me, it will have nothing to do with me being out of alignment. That's that's how I saw it. I said, I'm gonna do all.
Look.
I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and I don't care how it looks to everybody else or what other people are thinking or what the internet says. I'm gonna stay in alignment. I'm gonna stay in good relationship, and we are here today.
Y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing. I am flabbergasted. But I am so
God is amazing.
God
is amazing.
Yeah. God is amazing.
God is amazing.
God is amazing.
Hello to my niece in Taiwan is on tonight.
Oh, wow.
Kalisa,
Hello.
she's in Taiwan with her husband and children. I love you. Y'all have messed my little interview right on up.
Well, we can come back another time.
Yeah, we
with
can
your
always.
questions.
We can always do. Yeah.
It's got to be a part 2, because for those
Yeah.
of us who are single, I have not trusted the process. I'm the most transparent preacher you will ever meet. I haven't trusted the process. I haven't even found somebody who would even meet where I want to be. I have boundaries now that I didn't have. I've educated myself on who I am, my authentic self. And in my marriages, I tried to be somebody else. I wanted to
you tried to myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You tried to be who that other person needed you to be. And you said all your children are adults, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the woman that you were when your children were little is different from this woman. And I understand that, because I'm 52. So my person that I am, I'm not the person that is worried about the school district, the pickup, the lunches, the baseball practice, the choir rehearsal, all of that stuff. This relationship was about me, what I needed from a partner. I didn't need a husband to be a stepdad or, throw the ball with my son. This is about me. And who am I really? Out when I remove being a mom and all that other stuff I was to other people, who am I really? And with him, I didn't have to dumb myself down. I did not have to change up how I navigate in the world. I could be, we're women. We have a lot of layers. And to be with a man who understands, that's just one of her layers.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the whole onion.
Yeah.
All the layers.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So where you are, like you said, educating yourself, learning who you are in this dispensation of time, you have some different expectations. You have different boundaries. You have a lot of different components to yourself that, it's like, oh, no. I'm not looking for a fixer upper. I want a new build.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have 3 bedrooms. No, I said 2 bathrooms. 1.5 is not 99 won't do.
Yeah.
And when you set that expectation and that standard, I just feel like God puts it in your heart of what it is. He knows the desires of your heart. So if you are at a point where, like, God, I do desire to be married, I do desire that covenant, I do desire that, he starts moving the pieces and moving your pieces, like for me, I feel, to be in a posture, to be in alignment with the best of this other person and the best of you to come into a marriage.
Or even just say, hey, I need some help, God. I want all that, and I want you to supersize it for me, but I need your help. So blow on it, lead me, sprinkle some glitter in that direction, a breadcrumb trail, something to at least get me started on the path that you let your will be done in this area. I want a wife, but give me a wife that possess the things that need to nurture the man in me. Once you say that, and once you say what she just said, then you're going to experience the process. But once we are in it for self, once our own desires, then that's where we make a mess of our relationships. So I don't know, most of your listening audience have a spiritual base, a church, but it's really important to realize, above all, you must be balanced. You must have balance. We are spiritual beings, but we also are natural human beings, and we cannot negate that. And we have to come to God earnestly and honestly with our true selves. There were some things about her that I asked for. Before I even knew her, before I even saw her profile online. There are some things I love about her that I asked for. There are some bonus stuff about her that I have. But because I was tapped into the source, I feel like, God, you know exactly, I like that. You something else. You something else, God. I ain't even asked for that, but I sure will take it. The bonus, God will give you the bonus of your storehouse, and we don't even know that it's there. But you first have to be locked into a foundational mindset and follow those principles. And we can talk. We don't have enough time to go through all those things now, but we can always come back.
Right? And I'm already gonna say, y'all get your schedule together for January.
Okay.
Because I want y'all to come back, and maybe we're going to have a few other couples to come so we can. But I have enjoyed y'all so much. I think y'all have given me hope.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Y'all giving me hope. Because I'm like, and I have to say this episode I'm dedicating to my friend. She just passed away on Sunday. But she had an amazing marriage. She was married to her husband 20 years. And we all were talking, we were honoring her life. And I was listening to him talk about her. And the one thing that he said that even when I think of it now, because I knew them when they got married and as they journeyed, his wife was my mentor. So almost 30 years, a 30-year friend has gone to be with the Lord. But when she was sick, she said, baby, I don't want to be a burden to you. And he told all the hospice nurses, teach me what to do, because nobody needs to touch her. And he cared for her to the end. And one day she said, I don't want to be a burden. He said, you see this ring right here? This is for better or worse. And he said 99% of their marriage was good and only 1% was bad. That was her getting sick. And he knew she was going to transition. But he was with her when she took her last breath. He was there.
That's a covenant.
Mm-hmm. That's a covenant. Sealed, bonded. Yeah. That's what it is.
Mm.
So no matter how much we grow, we don't grow apart. We grow into each other even more. We're growing not separate, because that time that we were single, that was that single growth. That was the time that we were supposed to sprout up into something in preparation to come together. We both already had the mindset. I didn't have to come to her and sell her on marriage. She didn't have to sell me on marriage. We knew that's what we wanted. And for the people that didn't, we listen. I'm a man. I know what looked good. Now, brothers, keep it real. But we have to say, you know what? That's fleeting. That don't last. You know, the body is fleeting. At the end of the day, we are growing entwined with each other, however that looks. And that's something you have to wait on. You have to purposely, but we can't do it by ourselves. If there's a spiritual intervention that's needed, it's needed. But it's discipline too. So yeah, we most definitely have enjoyed talking to you, talking to your audience. So thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
I need y'all.
And we look forward to
get
coming
off-
back too.
Yes, I need when we get off tonight, I need you to send me all your platforms so I can put it with your picture and send it out on all my platforms, because Straight Talk is a place to get information, but one monkey won't stop a show. I may not be the person that connects with them, but I know you've connected with somebody, and there just might be a couple or a single person that says, oh my God, I want to talk to them. I need to meet them. I'm going to send the information. I have enjoyed y'all. I'm crying, but oh my God. It's nothing like hope. And I'm going to tell y'all have given me hope.
Yeah.
That it is just not over.
It's not.
And that if we just align ourselves with God.
Yeah.
And ask him and just stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, that he gonna do it.
Yeah.
So the prophecy has already gone forth that he's coming. I'm asking y'all to pray with me and for me that I'll be in good posture.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I learned that from you tonight. I was born a wife, but that posture and alignment, I think I needed that information tonight. So my impatience has gone down such a level talking to y'all. And that wondering, looking around the corner, I don't have to look around the corner. So y'all have really
stop looking. Live. Good.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a blessing. Thank you. I'm so glad that we could.
Good.
And
this has been marvelous to me.
Y'all have amazed me, shocked me, wowed me, and almost knocked me out. But y'all got to come back in January. Y'all got to come back.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, because we only got
a
little bit of the meat. We didn't get enough. But yeah, y'all got to come back. Y'all
you leave the people wanting more. Okay, go ahead.
Look, y'all make me fly up there. But I appreciate y'all so much tonight. Oh my God. It was good. It was good for my soul. If it wasn't good for nobody, it was good for my soul. So, and it lifted the burden of losing my friend. It lifted the Father. Whew, yes, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're going to do all things. We're going to do all things through God, even in grief. We have to allow ourselves to grieve. And just real quick, I just want to speak to everybody and everybody in the faith in the kingdom to know we need that balance. We need a balance of I don't know who put it out there in the atmosphere that Christians are not supposed to grieve, or we're not supposed to do certain things. But we also have to remember we're natural. Jesus came and he lived a natural life, and he was able to manifest his true calling and ascend to heaven as an example to show us, I am suffering on this earth with you. I'm going through all the human things with you, so you can see it can be done. So all these things, marriage, relationships, grief, um, there are even tithing and giving. People don't believe in, giving to the church, but we have principles and processes. If we want to be blessed, these things must be done, not unto man, but unto God. So marriage is no different. So many examples. God is using marriage as an example of how he loves us, and using marriage as a symbol of how he loves us. So uh, again, we want to say thank you. My wife, I want to, in her absence, most definitely let you all know, and we'll communicate more and communicate with the
Yes.
audience as well, because this is a calling for us. It's not just for us to hold on to. We love talking about this because it's really not about us in retrospect. This is a ministry that all men are drawn to him, because we didn't come from this. We didn't come from this stock. We've had some bad experiences in relationships. So what you're seeing and what you're hearing us talk about is divine intervention.
I just want to say I love you guys. Y'all have, I ain't even gonna start, but y'all did me real good tonight. It was food for my
Okay,
soul for y'all tonight.
she's coming back, so we'll be
Yeah,
able to
I
say,
Okay.
want to say bye to the wife. I wanted to make sure we
okay.
say bye to the wife. Thank you. Thank you
Okay, and
for
we will say, see you
rendering.
next time.
Thank you for rendering your gift to the kingdom. Thank you for yielding to the master's voice, that we would have an opportunity to see him through your marriage. And it's a beautiful thing that we're looking at tonight. So we want to say good night to everybody. What a way to end another episode of Straight Talk Food for the Soul. We love everybody. Have an amazing weekend and have good service on tomorrow. Love you guys. Good night.